Did you see the? Are we allowed to say Ron Paul? Are we allowed to say it on this program?
As far as I know,
because we're white guys on radio, and we're supposedly an extension of the Republican Party. But he's being dismissed by everyone in the Republican Party because he's that crazy old cat that will never get any traction. Or old fool, tired old fool. Is that the Mr. Potter of Fox and Friends with Donald Trump? Anyway, new poll out, NBC Marist poll. Guess who is the only one of the GOP current presidential contenders who beats Obama in 2012? Ron Paul. It's got to be making them crazy. I was listening to snarky Dick Morris last night on what Fox program? It doesn't matter. He was on Fox. Oh, imagine that. Dick Morris on Fox. How'd that happen?
Wow.
Shocker. Exclusive interview with the exclusive Dick Morris. Talking about the exclusive insights of the exclusive Dick Morris on this exclusive cable interview with Dick Morris. He was talking about, who the real candidates are. And it's Newt Gingrich and it's Mitt Romney. He goes, and then it's Ron Paul. Dick Morris, the toe sucker. Dick Morris, the toe sucker. Bill Clinton's guy in 1996. Hated by Republicans, now loved because he hates the Clintons. I'm not so sure. Let me ask you this. Do you think Dick Morris really hates Bill Clinton? Or do you think he loves money more than he hates Bill Clinton? Why would he go from being who he was to who he supposedly is now? Because he knows where the bread is buttered and you know who's paying the most do-re-mi, and that'd be Fox. So why not go over there and go, oh, those Clintons, oh, those Clintons, oh, those Clintons. And he was just so buddy-buddy. But now he's just, ha-ha. And, of course, he doesn't make any money off this. Oh, yes, he does. That's right. He said, as you know, I have dickmorris.com. Ha, dickmorris.com. And I have 500,000 names on dickmorris.com. And sometimes the candidates pay to rent my list so they can send out their message to the members that I have on the email. You know what all this is? It's just a bunch of political whores that are figuring out a way that they can make money off a presidential election cycle. And they don't care who wins. They really don't. Because they're always going to figure out a way to make money along the way. But the thing that they're having a problem with is Ron Paul. They've done everything they possibly can to dismiss this guy, to make him persona non grata. As the opening of our program says with Bill O'Reilly, just saying, we disqualified Ron Paul because his people slammed the poll. Think about that. We have a poll up at BillO'Reilly.com, or what is this? If you type in IamGod.com, BillO'Reilly.com pops up, and he is to be revered and feared. And how dare you respond to a poll question that he puts up at his site or a Fox News site? And they want to dismiss Ron Paul, want to get rid of him. And Donald T. Rump is trying to dismiss Ron Paul. And Donald T. Rump is trying to dismiss Karl Rove and Charles Krafthammer and George Will. And anybody who says Donald T. Rump is just a fool. He's a carny. He's a barker. He's a game show host. He's nothing. He'll never be a hero, so he can't go from hero to zero. He's always been a zero. He will be a zero. And now he's zeroing in on this game show, gong show, political spectacle called a debate on December 27th. Now, you have to listen to how Donald Trump talks about him not running for the presidency. Because words matter. As we know, Frank Luntz tells us, words matter. And it's not so much what you say as it is what people hear. Now, here's Donald Trump in coordination with Newsmax talking about this Ion Television 2012 presidential debate. He said, I've been deeply flattered that so many people have asked me to run for president. First, when I was considering a Republican bid, and I led in the national polls. Since then, some have even suggested I run as a third-party candidate. Let me be clear. I do not want to run as a third-party candidate. What's the important word there? Want. I do not want to run as a third-party candidate. But the headline in Newsmax says, Trump, I'm not running for president. I'm backing GOP candidate. No, that's not what he said. But when you're Newsmax and you're trying to promote this game show presidential debate on the 27th of December, you have to invalidate Trump as not being a potential presidential candidate. He's just going to merely be a moderator. a bystander, someone who's going to be like the tennis ball machine, just lobbing them out as the candidates swat them back over the net. So Trump says, let me be clear. I do not want to run as a third-party candidate. My priority, my number one priority is to defeat Barack Obama in 2012. That's the second lie, because that's not his number one priority. His number one priority is what? Donald Trump. That's his number one priority. He said, I want to support and endorse the Republican candidate for president. That doesn't mean I'm gonna if I don't like who it is. And that means I still might run for president. But if I'm trying to help sell this farce of a game show on the 27th, I want to be clear as mud, that I don't want to be a third-party candidate, and I want to support and endorse the Republican candidate. He said, I've told them what I have said publicly. I will support the Republican candidate best able to defeat Barack Obama and the one who shares the values of most Americans. Really? And what if that's not the person that you think is the person most likely to beat Barack Obama in your mind, Donald T. Rump? Well, then he's not going to back him. And if he's not going to back him, what does that mean he's going to do? That means he's going to run. And even if he has no intention of running, the fact that he's even considered being a potential nominee for whatever party he's going to run on, or the fact that he might throw his hat in the ring, should completely invalidate him from having anything to do with any supposed presidential debate in any way, shape, or form. To this end, I've agreed to moderate the Newsmax Ion television presidential debate. Millions of Americans will tune in. This will give me and America a fantastic opportunity to vet these candidates. Also, I've just written a new book, Time to Get Tough, which reveals how we can defeat Barack Obama and save America. Just happened. A little book there, too. Little thing. No, see, right here. Okay. Look, I've written a book. I've whored my book out without trying to whore it out. It's brutal. I mean, maybe sometimes it's best to say, look, just buy my book, and I'll stop asking you to buy my book. You know, I mean, that would probably maybe be the most honest way to sell a book. It's a damn good book. I took a lot of time to write it. I actually wrote it. Unlike most people who don't write it, have other people write it, and they stick their name on it. You couldn't ask them what was on page 12. They wouldn't be able to tell you. But it's brutal whoring a book. It's like when I was running for office. I hated to ask people for money. I just assumed that if you liked what I said when I ran for Congress, you were just going to go, well, here's a check. I had a very difficult time doing the commerce side of the political side. And I had a difficult time saying, oh, may uniquely work in my book today. And no matter what I was talking about, you could be talking about socks. We could be talking about pizza. We could be talking about, it doesn't matter. And you go, which reminds me, you know, there's a chapter in my book that talks about socks, and it's brutal. And Trump is one of the uber promoters of all time. But he doesn't like to be told things that he doesn't like to hear. Now, rarely do I agree with Karl Rove. Rarely. I do agree with Donald Trump that Karl Rove, the architect, and George Bush together under the guise of compassionate conservatism helped to create the arena that gave us Barack Obama. Because for someone like him to fill the leadership position means there has to be a void of leadership there to begin with. But Donald Trump was on Fox and Friends, which is the Today Show for Republicans this morning. And Donald Trump was talking about polls, but polls don't matter if he doesn't like them. But if someone writes a rap song about him, then there's a number that matters. And all that matters is nobody should participate in this charade known as the Ion Television Newsmax 2012 presidential debate.
Now, you're not going to like these numbers, Donald. More likely to vote for somebody, only 6% people say yes. Less likely, 31%, no difference at all, 62%. Your response?
I don't believe the numbers. Look, I know a lot about polling, and you can ask a poll a certain way, you can put a poll a certain way, and they'll respond. I will tell you this, Mac Miller, I never heard of Mac Miller. He's a young Eminem. Nobody ever heard of him. He did a song called Donald Trump. As of this morning, he has 37 million hits. 37 million hits.
What?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't matter. Trump got to talk about himself. That's all that matters. And then Trump talking about Karl Rove and Charles Krauthammer and George Will doesn't like when they don't say what he wants to hear.
I heard Stephen
Charles
King was
Krauthammer
on today.
said that he thought it was
He's
absurd.
a political hack. He's
George Will and Karl Rove.
By the way,
listen
these are three people, I have to tell you. They're hacks. They don't speak for anybody. They have no power. A guy like Karl Rove, he's the one that gave us Bush, which ultimately gave us Obama.
Wow. Takes a hack to know a hack.
Takes a hack to know a hack, I guess, but I agree with that hack Karl Rove about giving us Obama courtesy of Bush's compassionate conservatism. But then they go back after Karl Rove, and you have to listen to the politically correct nature of Fox and Friends, where they go, well, how do we do this now? We like Karl Rove. We got Donald Trump on the program dissing Karl Rove, calling him a hack, but we like Donald Trump because he doesn't like Obama. How do we handle this one in the politically correct nature of Fox and Friends?
Karl Rove, we also like you, so I just don't want to. We like Karl Rove, we also like you, so I just don't want to. You know what you should do?
Well, I don't like him. I like people that are straight.
What?
Is that Donald Trump's anti-gay moment right there?
Sounded
I
like it.
people who are straight. And there's Brian Kilmeade, which he's just the uber just milquetoast. Well, we like Karl Rove, and we like you too, and we like everybody who's a Republican, and now we really don't know what to do, so we're just going to go to commercial.
We like Karl Rove, we also like you, so I just don't want to. You know what you should do?
Well, I don't like him. I like people that are straight.
I just don't want to have to make a choice. Damn it. I just don't want to have to make a choice, because on Fox and Friends, every Republican is good and every Democrat is bad. But now I've got a good, bad Republican and a good, bad Republican, and I can't. Let's go to commercial, because that's the best thing that we could possibly do. And hopefully everyone will forget the confusion that we have here when forced to actually have some conviction.
The Jerry Doyle Show.
Ron Paul, most likely to beat Obama in latest Iowa poll. What do you think about that, Donald Trump? Well, he's an old, tired old fool who's not going to be on your debate. He turns you down. Maybe you should offer him up some kind of like package like you do your wives. You know, maybe you can get him to do a little business with you that way. Look what I have to offer.
A debate prenup?
A debate prenup, exactly. There you go. Ron Paul has to refer to Donald Trump as Mr. Trump, which they have to on The Apprentice, by the way. You know that's part of the contract? You have to refer to him as Mr. Trump.
Never.
You can never call him Donald. I have something else I'll call him, but I'll do it on the break. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
The Jerry Doyle Show.